let's cut to the chase. So I went on Instagram. I asked you guys to ask me questions about the deaf community and me being deaf, and if they have any questions. I know a lot of people are like scared to ask me questions about being deaf because they don't want to offend me. So I said to just ask me. It's okay if you're just curious. It's better to be curious and ask than to be ignorant and wonder. You know what I mean? In case you're new here, I'm deaf, but I have 2 cochlear implants which helps me hear like a normal person, but without them, I'm 100% deaf. I also have an older brother, my first one, he's completely deaf. He doesn't have any cochlear implants or hearing aids. And my second brother, he's completely hearing, as well as my parents. And yeah, let's jump into the questions. And if you hear my washer, I'm sorry, it's downstairs, so. Okay. Did you learn sign language before learning English? How was learning sign growing up? Sign language was my first language. I was able to talk to my parents without learning how to speak. I don't remember learning how to sign growing up. It kind of just came to me because my family was already signing because of my older brother. Just caught on, just like how a person who learned English growing up doesn't really remember how they learned English. So yeah. What do deaf people do if they get pulled over by the police? This is very important in the deaf community because as soon as you have miscommunication, that's where things could go wrong. So it's very well taught in the community. If a deaf person gets pulled over by the police, it's taught to keep both hands on the wheel. And as soon as the police officer comes to the window, keep direct eye contact with them. And as soon as you see their mouth move, you do this. That should be able to give them the sign of, oh, they're deaf, oh, they can't talk. And it's up to them on how they interact with you. They might pull out a pen and paper, they might point at their phone, the deaf person to grab their phone and do the nose thing. Or let's say if you're not in the car and you're interacting with a police officer in like a situation, put your hands up and then go like this. They should know that means I'm deaf. So, next question. Do you get nervous in group settings? I don't get nervous, but I do tend to keep to myself until someone speaks to me, because if it's like a group discussion and everyone's talking at once, there's no hope for me to like keep up in a conversation. I don't really go to parties, but if I'm like at a networking event, I just really keep quiet until someone talks to me directly. Yeah. Is there anything specific that hearing people do that offends you? For some reason, for hearing people, deaf jokes are like top humor for them. Like they apparently like roll on the floor dying or whatever. But I'm gonna make another video on that, so stay tuned. I kind of do get offended when people like pretend to sign. They're like, did I say anything? Do deaf individuals want others to learn ASL or attempt to sign them? I mean, that would be very helpful if you were to learn some sign. Maybe like not sign language exactly, but like hand gestures. Like it's very helpful if you use that while talking to a deaf person. I made an ABC sign language video if you want to go check that out. It's probably going to be right there. I think sign language should be taught in schools. Like it should be like an option because it's very helpful. The biggest challenge you face being deaf and your strengths. My biggest challenge is misunderstanding people. They could say one thing and I would think they said a whole nother thing. That's why I always say what. That's why I always like make sure they're saying what I think they're saying. There are a lot of times where someone will say something and I say something like that doesn't have to do with it and they're just like. Another thing I thought of was when I went to Mount Ida. I had a single room but it didn't have a bathroom, so I had to like go to a public bathroom. The showers, they didn't have a lock on them. It was just like curtains. I wasn't comfortable with that because I was shower deaf, so I would be scared. I know it's not likely for anything to happen, but every night I was terrified because I was scared that someone would walk in like by accident or something like that. Or maybe like a stranger in public would like say something to me fast and laugh. I would just be like, haha, and I can't understand people who mumble when they talk, and I know a lot of people like that. They don't really like express with their lips, they're just like But any strengths? There are a lot of strengths. I sleep peacefully. Also, this might sound crazy, but like because I can't hear, all my other senses are more like heightened, if that makes sense. So I feel like I can catch things better, I can see better. Like I'm looking directly at you, but I can see my hand. I just feel like I'm more like aware. Like if something's falling, I can catch it. Like it's so weird. It's just so weird. The same thing with my brother too. It's like having a superpower, honestly. Next question. If someone is completely deaf, do they subconsciously think in sign? No. They think in the language that they grew up in. Like English or Spanish, whatever second language. How about ordering food in a restaurant or a drive-thru? On campus, I like to go to places deaf. When I wake up and I go get breakfast, I don't wear my cochlear implants. So we'll say I'm getting Dunkin's, I'll write in my notes app saying, "Hi, I'm deaf, this is my order, have a good day." When it comes to drive-thrus, my brother will go up to the window, show the phone with the order, and then they'll tell him to go like park further down, and they'll bring the food out to him. How different would your deaf experience be if you didn't have your cochlear implants? Sometimes I don't even want to think about it because my entire life changed because of these cochlear implants. I'm able to speak better, I'm able to hear better. I know I wouldn't have the friends I have now. I would be a lot closer to the deaf community. Wow, yeah, my entire life would be so different, and it's hard to think about that. So, next question. Have you ever met someone that said having cochlear implants goes against embracing deaf culture? I've never met someone that said that, but that's a topic in the deaf community that's talked about a lot. I'm gonna call my brother and I'm gonna get his opinion on it. See what he says. I'm recording a video and I'm answering questions about the deaf culture, and one of the questions, let me see, wait, hold on. I guess you guys get to see how I sign with my brother. Do deaf people think getting cochlear implant goes against the deaf community? You know what I mean? Do people, deaf people, think getting cochlear implants go against the deaf community? Yeah. 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 Some people think it's betrayal or something like that.
Like they should be proud of being deaf.
Yeah, take pride. Yeah.
Like me, I don't want a cochlear implant right now because I'm comfortable with what I have. Would I like to hear more? Yeah, but the cochlear implant to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Force. Yeah. Yeah. Say hi. Yeah, that was my brother's input on that. Do you wish you went to a deaf school instead of public? I would wish that if I didn't have my cochlear implants, but I'm very happy I went to a public school because I wouldn't have met the people I know now. Yeah, my entire life would be so different. It did come to mind when applying to college if I should go to a deaf college, Gaudet or RIT, but I got accepted to Mount Ida, so I was just like, why not go there? And then they shut down on me, so whatever. How does someone who's deaf learn how to read without hearing someone pronounce words? This is a really good question. It's a very long... It's a very long process for a deaf person to learn how to read. That's why I salute all the speech therapists, all the teachers that teach deaf people. It involves like touching the throat, like ah, ba, stuff like that, and like feeling the air come out of your mouth, like love. Yeah, that's all I know. I don't remember learning how to read. Like, I don't remember any of that. We have a few more questions and then we're done. If my baby were born deaf, should I get them cochlear implants? I personally strongly suggest getting them cochlear implants ASAP, but that's up to you. But it's worth it. It's really worth it. It will change your child's life. How deaf are you without your cochlear implants? I'm 100% deaf. It kind of like trips me out because I'll take off my implants and be completely deaf and not hear a thing. And I'm just like, how is that possible? Like, as soon as the magnet hits the magnet inside my head, I can hear. And it blows my mind. I know a lot of people might think this is weird, but I feel so blessed to have the best of both worlds. I think God gave me this for a reason. And here I go being religious again, but like, it's amazing. Yeah. I'm getting emotional thinking about it, so let me just... I guess that's it for the questions. I guess in conclusion, the deaf community, although they struggle, they take pride in their deafness. Deaf people can do whatever they put their minds to. I definitely want to be an example of that. I definitely want to prove that deaf people can do whatever they want. And yeah, I don't know what else to say other than subscribe if you want to, up to you. And if you want to be involved in the next Q&A video, you should definitely go follow my Instagram. That's where I get my questions from. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.